I'd like to start tonight's post by welcoming Angie, but I won't. I'll get to her later. But I will say this about the one thing she mentioned was lighting. I don't live in a garden level apartment, but the lighting in here in my townhouse blows ass, so it's always really dimly lit. And I have like all watts firing right now just to make this a nighttime video. That's all I'll say to you for now. Begin with Taco Cat. So happy to see you. You looked happy in California, but also sad because you had nobody there to spend time with. And then nobody made a video. Well, Nick did, kind of. He didn't want to talk and play with you via video last night. And I'm sorry, I have not been feeling well, so I myself didn't do so either. I apologize. That made me sad. Again, as I said via email, your dramatic entrance was phenomenal. I'd like to see a little bit more of that out of you. I've got some notes here tonight from everyone's conversations, and I'll show them to you later in order. I like that TCAP pointed out that Nick's blinker is a little bit too much. It's a little too much because, I mean, not only is it incredibly loud during his postings, it kind of makes him look like Satan. And maybe that's what he's going for. Probably. I don't know. Now, I would like Aaron to explain his involvement in California. Are you going to be there frequently? Because if so, maybe we could all get together out there and hang out with you after work. Because I think that would be fun. All the 842ians getting together. We'll bring Wit with us. We'll protect her, so that'll be fine. Also excited, Aaron. It doesn't sound like you're going to the game tomorrow, which again will probably be a bloodbath like it was last week. But it's really all about tailgating and getting drunk when you go to Husker games and just wearing a red shirt. Who really cares about watching the game anyhow? I just look at the final score and my beer, and then I'm fine. So I'm hoping that's all you're doing, because that's really the best way to go about the Husker games. And no, I know that Nick doesn't like any of the sports at all, really, and neither do I. I think we were kind of, and I don't know, I can't speak for Nick when I say this. Let me say it gingerly. And I don't want to say overwhelmed with sports on the television when we were younger, but that's the reason that I don't like sports. I don't know about him. He can respond at his own time. On to Nick, on to my notes, because I have to keep this short, and I'll explain why in about, I'm going to try and keep this whole thing short. Speaking of short, Nick said that he had made a 12-minute video. I think you should still post that. If you had something to say, you gotta say it, little brother. 12 minutes is fine. I would listen to it. Obviously, Angie wouldn't, since she hasn't watched any of our videos. But, except for the year 1 minute long one, it sounds like, which is fine. You're welcome, Missy. But, yeah, I think you should just throw it up there just for the fuck of it. Also, you know, in your rant and rave about Boston, I did not realize that you had been living out there that long. And then it kind of gives a sense of morality to me, saying, well, what have I done in that 9 years? I've been at the same place, doing the same jobs, had 1 advancement, 2 advancements, whatever. Not that big of a deal. So I think, like, actually what I wanted to say, the older you get, and it's such a cliche, but seriously, the more time just flies out of your hands. And you're just like, oh my god, it's been 9 years. Like, for strikers, oh my god, it's been 12 years that I've been working there. But, you don't realize it's been that long until you actually have to look back at it. And so I've decided I'm just simply not going to look back at it anymore. And go, oh, remember when I was only 22? So, also to Nick, I enjoyed your rant about, peace and serenity. And you should, if you could figure out how you got to that point, because it's something I've always been envious about with you. Is you're very calm for the most part, and I agree with what you said about your fuck words and cussing. But then all of a sudden you're calm again. Wherein, like, I got stressed out today and had to call, and I'm going to show everyone in a minute what happened here today. And the workers were here about the bird flying and attacking them. That was a stressor of mine. Because when I first called them, thought it could have happened, well, and then it ended up that it did happen.
Are you playing with my butt?
There's a black cat playing with my butt, and it makes me happy. So yeah, to be able to get into it's almost like a Buddha-esque state. I know you're agnostic, but it'd be interesting to find that whole realm, so to speak. Pass it along to others, please. And now you, Angie. For shame. You were invited so that you could understand what this conversation was about. We like to respond to each other, and again, Aaron, I'm sorry that nobody responded to you last night. I feel sad for you. I think you should really check it out from the beginning and see how things have progressed. I understand you're busy. I'm definitely going to go see your show, though. Not on opening night, because I know that's kind of taboo. I actually told my neighbor about it tonight. Ugh, there's a whole nother story. But I'm wondering if you realize that you made your post sideways, and if you did so intentionally, which I thought was kind of twisted and cool for your first posting. And then I also questioned what kind of phone you had, because you kept talking about the backlighting, which sometimes when I don't want to have all watts firing here at the Meadows, I have the backlight, and you'll notice in the one that's when I'm talking about the flooding, how I'm squinting the whole time. It's because the light was on and it was shining in my face, and then my retinas were burning after I was done, because it was a fairly long post. So if at all possible, I try to avoid that and encourage you to do the same. I'm very excited about your black cats, but not about your shitty dog that lives next door. And now I'm going to talk about the next door neighbors. Not a super yappy dog, and I am not a super social person, but I made the mistake of introducing myself one night after, I'm just going to say a few cocktails. I was out playing with my cats, and they all came over, or they were watching me, so I went over and introduced myself. And from that moment on, they just show up. They show up, and specifically, it's the woman, she lives with her mother and her child. The woman who is 2 years older than me, so that is fine. I enjoy companionship of my own age. But not a 7-year-old. It's driving me fucking crazy. I don't even want to get in. I'll just briefly run down the Memorial Day activities. Drove them to the park, played with the kid in the park, bought her a donut, bought her a slushie. Came back to my house because the woman didn't have a grill. She grilled food. I put in Harry Potter for the little girl. We played Pirates of the Caribbean Seen It, and then I made snow cones. And she was still bored. Give me a fucking break. Jesus Christ. So, I have been ill this week, for one, and I have multiple medical appointments lined up. But I also had appointments. I just spit a little. Had appointments. And I get home from work a little bit late, and there they are, at my gate, waiting to come in. And, I did tell Nick this when he was here about good fences make good neighbors, and he met her while he was here. Once again, came over uninvited. But I had a plumber scheduled to be here after I got home from work. So when the plumber showed up, I would have thought they would have left, and they didn't. He just stayed. She had a beer, and then I think the plumber was like, do you want one too? And so then the plumber had a beer, which thank God, I mean, he did his work though properly. And that brings me into wrapping this up. So this is what happened today. When the workers were here, I'm sure you can probably hear it buzzing in the background. They came and tore out stuff today and then put big fans. I'm going to take you on a walkthrough real quick. Here's Stella. Briefly, Stella. Stella. Oh, she did not want to say hi, like Angie's cats, Angie's black cats. So here is this large thing sitting in my dining room floor. And then we're going to go around into the kitchen, which they ripped up the floor today in the kitchen, and up here's another fan. The linoleum down here isn't horrible. There was hardwood floor over here, and you best believe I'm going to be getting some hardwood floor back. Yes, so then they ripped up the entire drywall and baseboards down in here. Another fan. The cats can't get through because they like to go back into that room back there. So yes, this is all torn up. Great. It kind of smells good. But then, which was a pleasant surprise, I hope you can still hear me, this is still torn up but now dry. In here, it's very dry now. But, pleasant surprise, I know it's a little dim, and it's going to be very loud right now. I went into the bathroom, which this was not part of the claim, and oh, whoopsie, they ripped out part of wall in here. And now I get my bathroom replaced for free. Hoorah. We'll go back to our sitting area. And we'll try and here's Stella. Be nice like Angie's cats. I know you've had such a dramatic day. Oh, there's a butt. That's a butt of a cat. At any rate, I said I was going to go be social over at the neighbor's house because apparently her ex-con brother just got some sort of vehicle for $900, and tonight in the dark they're going to go put in a fuel pump. Oh, and I did want to show my notes before I leave. Okay. So, I have T-Cat, and then look how I had to cross it off and give more to T-Cat, because there was Nick's spot. And then I gave Nick some room, and Angie some room, and then LBP. Nothing.